Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that is commonly asked on this channel, and it is how do you make a 2015 plus Subaru WRX with the F820 engine reliable? Now, the WRX and STI have been around forever, and it seems like most of the topics about reliability and how to make this platform reliable all surround the EJ motor and the EJ platform. So in today's video, I'm going to outline the things that you can do to make your F820 motor in the 2015 plus WRX happy and reliable, and hopefully I can teach you guys how to make the engine love you as much as you love the engine. Before we get too deep in our video today and we have some fun on driving through some back roads in this kind of POV kind of video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. We've got lots of cool installs coming, lots of updates about what's happening with this platform, and potentially this summer, this is when we're going to be adding the new car to the channel. I think I'm going to have to add some new gas to this car because my dam is not at 1, and it's been kind of concerning me. All right, so I'm not going to beat around the bush here. This isn't going to be a crazy long video. How do you make your 2015 Subaru WRX reliable? And why do you need to do anything? And that's the core question that you need to ask yourself. So if you plan on modifying this car or owning it for a long period of time, there are some things that you need to do, practices, modifications, and maintenance that are probably outside the spectrum of what you're normally expecting on a car. And specifically, I'm talking about those of us, especially that are modifying our cars, tuning them. There are some things that we need to do that are kind of up and above the normal ownership of a car. Now with the EJ, this could be something like the cylinder 4 cooling mod, or with any car, it could be like an air oil separator. So there's a handful of things that we can do, and I'm gonna kind of go over them. And guys, don't get lost if you're not modifying your car, because these are things that you can do for your car that aren't gonna affect your warranty. It'll potentially give you longer life for your car, your F820 motor, etc. So the first couple are easy ones. Don't leave the video just yet because I'm saying things that are pretty much common sense, but oil changes are really important. Make sure you're doing oil changes every 3,000 miles. Yes, you heard me. Every 3,000 miles or every 3 to 4 months. I wouldn't go much further than that. It's good to have clean, robust, new oil in these engines to keep them healthy, especially if you're running extra power. And just make sure in general all your fluids, your coolant, and everything is topped off. Now, beyond engine oil, the one other common sense thing that I do want to mention in this video today is, this is something that nobody really talks about, is make sure your engine thoroughly warms up. Now, because this is a turbocharged car, there are other components like your turbo, they need to warm up. Oil needs to circulate through the engine, things need to get warm, things need to kind of come to temp, they need to idle, they need to not be pushed cold. And this is something that's really important and not something that not a lot of people respect. Make sure when you're starting your car, you're going to drive your WRX, especially the F820 motor with a direct injection, make sure you're warming the car up. And I'm not even talking about looking at the temperature gauge, because often that thing is not reading correctly. Once your temperature gauge is up, drive the car a little bit more. Now, if you're in a warmer climate, make sure you're putting on, 1 to 3 miles. And, we're not talking like, if you're going 60, 3 miles isn't enough. Warm the car up for a solid 5 minutes of driving, at least, before you do any spirited driving or heavy pulls. For me, I go as far as saying, don't go over 4,000 RPM until you've been driving for 5 or so minutes. And this is gonna ensure proper warm up of your engine, and this is going to help you in the long run. All right, so I hope I didn't lose you guys already, because I know everyone's here for mods and they all want to hear about what they can do with mods and not do all this maintenance stuff, because maintenance stuff is boring and everybody hates doing it. All right, well, modifications, what can you do? The first thing that should jump to your mind is an air oil separator. I actually don't run yet an air oil separator on this car, and it's something that I've been meaning to do forever. I put it off to this year, and then because of COVID, I had a very hard time finding air oil separators because they were out of stock everywhere. And now they're coming back in stock, so it is something that I plan on doing. The AOS, or air oil separator, traps oil from the crankcase vents before it enters the intake, which reduces carbon buildup, increases the intercooler efficiency, which in turn reduces the chance of potential detonation. So yes, an air oil separator is important. It is something that you should be adding in your car. It is something you can do yourself. It is a pretty easy mod to install. Well, easy is a rough term. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but it's not rocket science. Next, something that you can do theoretically without tuning. Now, it's good to have tuning, but you can do something like improving your intercooler or running a larger intercooler. Now, some people will say you do need to tune to run a larger intercooler. Some people say you don't, and it's gonna throw off your AFR. It's kind of up in the air. This is more something for those of you guys that are running a tuned vehicle. Upgrading your top mount intercooler to either a front mount intercooler or a larger top mount, more efficient top mount intercooler is not only going to let you make more power when you get tuned, but it's going to keep your engine cooler. It's going to keep your cycle cooler. You're going to get more cooling over your hot side discharge. And while it's hard to tie this to reliability, it's just better for your engine itself. Now I'm gonna jump back for a second because honestly, if you guys can't tell, there aren't a ton of things. You know, it's all about maintenance of the FA20 motor. There's not a lot of modifications for better reliability, but I'm gonna jump back to the oil for a second. You could install a Fumoto drain valve or a similar drain valve, and this is gonna allow your 3,000 miles or less oil changes to be faster and easier, and then you're gonna wanna do it more often. But the last and most important thing about maintenance on this car and improving reliability is actually about monitoring. And I wanted to leave this to the end because it's not a mod, it's not maintenance, it's just simply understanding what's happening with your FA20 motor at all times. And I started this video, unfortunately, mentioning my DAM, my Dynamic Advanced Multiplier. And I gotta stop talking with my hands. My DAM, my Dynamic Advanced Multiplier, it's not at 1 right now, and that's super concerning. The first thing that I'm gonna do after filming this video is going and topping off with some 93 Shell V-Power, which is theoretically what's in my car. Actually, I know it's what's in my car, but I may have just gotten a stale or bad batch of it, and that might be causing my DAM to be at 0.938. Now, this isn't an uncommon DAM if you're running an OTS tune, but for me, I've always driven, my DAM has always been at 1, except once or twice when I've gotten like end of the barrel gas, and you can tell when the tank's a little bit empty and it starts doing the clicking. Usually at that point I stop pumping the gas, but then I'll run like a 0.938 for a little bit. So what you can do is you can start monitoring your engine, and that's going to be super important in the long term. You need to monitor things like your feedback knock, your boost, your DAM, and what you're doing here is you're trying to understand and predict instances where you've got a problem. And you predicting and reading these instances is gonna help long-term reliability. If your DAM drops because you've got terrible fuel in your car, you need to know that because you need to put in a stabilizer, or you need to top off your tank, or even empty your tank so you can fix that. If you've got feedback knock, you need to understand what's causing that feedback knock, whether it's your AC, whether it's something on the road, or whether you're actually experiencing knock, and you need to fix that, or you're gonna have a serious long-term problem with your engine. So I guess the point that I'm making here is buy yourself a Cobb Access port. You don't even have to tune your car. Just run the Cobb Access port as a monitoring tool so that you understand what's happening with your car. It's not gonna affect your warranty. It's just gonna give you a more accurate, display of what your car is actually feeling on a daily basis. It's like going to a checkup if you're, your yearly checkup. So that's just my 2 cents, guys. I know this isn't a juicy video, but it is something that I think everybody needs to hear if they're a WRX owner. Hopefully you guys are taking all of these precautions yourself. I hope you guys all have long lives for your engines, and I hope you guys have a great day too. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching.